Welcome to Unit 10 of the Lay Pastors Ministry Equipping Seminar entitled Building Relationships. In this segment, Dr. Steinbraun will communicate the importance of establishing good relationships with those you are pastoring.
Pastoral care takes place within a relationship. So we want to talk about building a relationship. I want to read a quote that I read earlier in the seminar from Archibald Campbell to get this in focus. He says, pastoral care is not correctly understood if it is viewed within the framework of professionalism. Pastoral care is a relationship founded upon the integrity of the individual. So how do we build a relationship? This is very important because we want to relate to people. How do we go about building that relationship? There are at least 5 requirements. The first is to pray. Pray personally and by name. It's amazing what will happen to a relationship between you and people for whom you are praying. So pray personally, pray by name, pray regularly, like daily or whatever you understand regularly to be, and pray specifically. Here it helps to keep in close touch with people to find out their life situations and changes so that we can lift them to God with details. So the first is to pray in building a relationship. The second is sensitivity, to be empathic, respectful, to have a self-awareness, to know how we're coming across to people, and then to adjust ourselves to them in whatever way is necessary. The third is focus, to focus on them. This would range anywhere from really looking at them with our eyes to listening to them carefully so that they get the feeling that we are really with them, to get on their agenda, or as somebody has said, to be sure that you are on the same page. What better way there is to focus on a person, to give them the feeling that you are really there for them, than to listen carefully to what they are saying. The fourth is to serve in giving yourself. If you really want to win points with somebody, find out what they need done for them and then do it. It may be changing a tire, it may be mowing a lawn. I know one lay pastor who helped a single mother with 2 children wallpaper her house. I would be doing people a disservice by helping them wallpaper, but she knew what it was to wallpaper, and she, as she said, discipled this woman in wallpapering. So we can give ourselves, be alert to conditions and needs so that you can flow in to give substantial help to people to whatever degree you are able. The fifth is pray. Now that's also number 1, and that's because of its importance that I list it first and last. If done personally, regularly, and specifically, there is no relational building effort more important than praying. So much flows out of that. Jesus gave us the parable of the growing seed, and this parable illustrates the development of pastoral or of a relationship that makes pastoral care possible. It's found in Mark 4, and it starts out with these words, "A man went out and scattered seed." This is the pastoring initiative. Someone needs to take the first step, and the seeds which you scatter are seeds of friendship, of warmth, of acceptance, of sensitivity, of love, and of care, and the like. Then the next that we read is, the seed sprouts and grows. What a happy situation. Relationship grows. Love contains the power to take root and grow. Who can resist love? The story is told, you know, of an argument between the sun and the north wind, as to which was the stronger. And the north wind, of course, blew with all of its might, and the man only clutched his coat tighter around him because they had decided that whoever could take that man's coat off was judged to be the stronger. So the north wind gave up. Then the sun came out bright and warm, and as the man walked along, he took off his coat. That's the nature of love. You know that it will produce friendship and relationship. Then next in this parable, we read that the soil produced grain in progressive stages. Not all of a sudden, it doesn't just pop up and all of a sudden there you've got full-blown seeds, but the soil is the heart of the recipient, conditioned by the Holy Spirit. And first there is the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. Now there may be a long interval between scattering the seed and the sprouting. And then there may again be a long interval between the sprouting and the full growth. But know that as God has given you the special call to do this service for Him, and know that as you do it in love, that something is going to be happening. With some people, you may have to give it quite a bit of time. That's the way it is with seeds. Some seeds take forever to sprout and appear above the surface of the earth. And others, you plant them, and if the sun is warm and there's moisture, they're up in 2 or 3 or 4 days. Relationships are the same. So if some of them are slow in developing, in coming to the sprouting and to the full growth, be patient. Give them time. The last that we read is that the grain is ripe, the harvest has come, the relationship will reach full maturity. So sow in hope and in confidence, just do it, like the Nike slogan, and you'll find out that God does care for this seed, and it sprouts into a relationship. Relationship makes pastoral care possible. If you think back in times in your life when you were really cared for, you will undoubtedly discover that it was somebody with whom you had a relationship, maybe a parent, maybe a neighbor, maybe a teacher, but somebody who already had an established relationship. The relationship makes pastoral care possible. In a relationship, care is recognized as real, genuine, and natural. In other words, the relationship makes you a trusted person in the mind of the other. A relationship makes it easier to ask for help. A person doesn't have to cower and struggle and screw up all of the energy possible in order to get to ask for help. It makes help a lot easier to ask for. And then needs can often be recognized before people have to come to bring themselves to ask for help. Many times it's a lay pastor will be able to say, you know, you've been looking a little down lately. Is there any reason for that? You're being proactive, and you're recognizing the need before they're having to say anything about it. Relationship is really about friendship. And the following thoughts I'm going to share with you are really attributable to Lewis Smedes in his book, Care and Commitment. He says there are 3 kinds of friendship. The first is friendship that is based on affection. You like each other and enjoy each other. But this may be short-lived because liking changes and people change, and so affection is not enough to make a lasting relationship. And in pastoral care, we need lasting relationships. The second kind of friendship is based on usefulness. That is, doing things for each other. Let me give an example of business friends, where they will give tax advice to one another, maybe investment tips. They make contacts for one another at conventions and other meetings, but they don't share one another's problems. They're short on true care. And so the kind of friendship that's based on usefulness is not enough to make for a lasting relationship. And as you have church friends, people that you're going to be assigned to care for, some of them will accept you and make over you, and it will enable you to care for them conveniently and pleasantly. But if they're not useful to you, see, if they respond that way, they're very useful to you because they feed your ego. But if that response does not come from them, and there is no relationship that develops, then they're not useful to you, and you sort of cross them off. So usefulness is not enough to make a lasting relationship. The third kind of friendship is based on character. Friends really admire each other. But then after a while they discover that there are weaknesses, there are flaws, there are faults, there are superficialities and other warts. And so character is not enough to make a lasting relationship. So Lewis Smedes goes ahead to tell that if friendship is going to be long-lasting, it has to be based on commitment. As he says, remember that every genuine personal commitment has two components, consistency and care. And I quote from him here, consistency keeps the external structure steady, but care breathes lasting love inside the structure. Consistency is the muscle, care is the warm blood. Consistency is our predictability. Care is our personal presence. So it is your relationship that makes pastoring possible. And so that requires a commitment on your part to be consistent with people in praying for them, being available to them, contacting them, and being an example to them, because out of this, pastoral care will be taking place.
This concludes Unit 10. Please stop the tape. Our next unit will focus on how the lay pastor listens.